I told you not to sell.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. I'm looking at NVIDIA leaps. So what's a leap? Let's go over what the hell even is a leap. What am I talking about? What is this guy saying? Okay, so let's go over to... Nope, that's the wrong monitor. There's the monitor I want to look at. So a leap, you go to the symbol here, NVIDIA, strategy, call, buy to open, because you're looking to buy a leap. You're going to buy one, and this is known as the expiration date. So for those of you who don't know, an options leap is another way of saying, hey, I want to be able to buy, I want to control 100 shares of NVIDIA without actually buying them. I know that might sound confusing, because you're not buying 100 shares. What I am buying is a contract to control 100 shares. So what I have to do, because contracts expire, unlike shares don't expire. You can buy shares and you can hold the bag on it and maybe it comes back up for you. But if you buy a contract, an options contract, they expire. You can see this contract. If I were to buy this contract today, this one expires literally tomorrow. So what does that mean? It means that the stock has to move in my favor. It has to move in my favor today or tomorrow in order for me to make money on this. If not, by tomorrow, this will expire and I obviously lose all my money. Because once it expires, you lost everything. So I would lose $200 if this doesn't move. If this tanks, I just lost it all. If I refuse to sell at a loss and just hold it all the way till expiration. So that's kind of the risk with options is, yes, you get the power to control 100 shares for less money, right? 100 shares on the market would cost me like $15,000 right now because the share price right now is $155. So we can do some simple math here, and even anyone with a brain can figure out 100 times the current price of what, 155 point, let's say 156. I mean, we're just adding two zeros. That's why I said 15,600. Yeah. So 15,600. You need to have that much in your account to be able to trade NVIDIA with 100 shares, or you just take $200 on options and you get the power to control 100 shares. Again, the downside is you can't hold bags on options because they expire, but it depends on the expiration date, right? You can choose plenty. You got options for days. When it comes to expiration dates, maybe I buy one a week out. It's going to cost more because the further out in time the expiration date is, the more it's going to cost you. So what you're really paying for is time. If you think NVIDIA is going to go to 165 next week, then maybe you would want to buy, a month out, right? Maybe we buy, let's say 725. It's going to cost you a lot more, but hey, you get to control 100 shares for the cost of $700 versus, almost $20K. And at some point, NVIDIA will be that expensive. It will be worth, $200 plus. So it'll just get more expensive to be able to afford 100 shares of NVIDIA. But with options, with $700, you can control 100 shares. Again, you have to be right in the direction, though. If you're wrong, you start to lose money and you start to lose it fast. So that's the downside. But a leap, for those of you who don't know, a leap means you're buying an option with an expiration date that is so far out, that is like years out, that even if it goes against you because you bought so much time, because you have plenty of time, even if it goes against you, even if for 4 months it just tanks, you got so much time that it can still come back up for you and then some. So you can see here, you can even go out as far as 2026. You can even go 2027 and 17, 2027, which is the ones I'm buying. So when you buy a leap, you're essentially saying, I'm going to buy an option, but I'm going to buy the furthest expiration possible. That way I really have a lot of wiggle room. Again, it's still going to expire by 2027, but that's you're giving yourself a lot of time. What, 2 years and a half? So what do you see on the yearly chart for NVIDIA? Since January 1st, 2013, this stock has not had 2 red years in a row. I want you to think about what I just said. Since 2013, for over a decade, this stock has not had 2 red years in a row. It had 1 red year here, followed by 3 green years. Had another red year here, followed by, what might be 3 green years. Because we started off red this year, but now it's green. So, I want you to think about that. For over a decade now, this thing does not have 2 red years. 2 red years. So, if you buy a leap with 2.5 years to expiration date, even if you have a red year, you know, based on previous patterns for over a decade now, that it can recover and then some on top of that, because it goes up for another 3 years, right? So it's kind of hard to lose when you look at the big picture. Hell yeah, you see MSTR going up, Bitcoin going down, shades, price target, alert. When I saw I'm still experimenting with these, bro. I like experiments. Yo, crush. Hell yeah. But yeah, no, I flipped the leap, and yeah, I can get used to this. So you can see I bought a leap today, literally at market open. I was like, I'm just gonna slap this leap, and you can see I bought 12/17, 2027, 175 strike, and yeah, I flipped it for $58 real quick. Again, every dollar that NVIDIA moves, I make about $60. So there you go, and all I had to do was pay a third of what it would cost to buy 100 shares actually outright on the markets. So I did the math in Discord, because we're always talking in the Discord. We're always joking around and stuff. 60 a day average times 20. Again, 60 a day average. We're assuming that's how much I make a day, per trading day on average. The goal, obviously, there's going to be days where I make more. There's going to be days where I make 120. There's going to be days maybe where I make 500, and there's going to be dud days where I make nothing because it's a red day. But I think I can shoot for 60 a day on average, which would be 1,200 a month, which would obviously add up to 14,440 a year. This is just with one contract. If you have the account size, you can obviously afford more contracts, which means you can make more. You can if you can afford 2 contracts, then you stand to make nearly 30K a year. If you can afford 5 contracts, obviously, like, the more you can afford, the more you can make. Especially with a stock that has that yearly pattern of just going higher, and any red year gets eaten up the next year and then keeps going. So this is going to be a fun experiment for me too, because I've never bought a leap. I didn't know about. I never wanted to take the risk with leaps because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But now I see. You just got to buy a lot of time and use the strategy on a stock that has that yearly pattern of it just keeps going up. And for over a decade, it's only had 1 red year, or 2 red years, which is insane if you think about it. So over the course of 13 years, it's only had 2 red years. That's crazy. That's insane. So shout out to who is it? Chava Lime, girl lime, I guess, is what that would translate to in Spanish. All credits to Girl Lime 22, which wanted to get better in the habit of taking profit. Yeah, no, he only bought 2026. So yeah, we're like becoming a leap Discord, I guess. We're gonna start trading options, but it's gonna be mainly leaps at this point. I don't really want to do shorter expiration. But you have to have at least $4,000, right? Man, I've been talking too long. But yeah, let me move over here. Oops. Again, this is freezing up. I'm going to have to check on my desktop, do some diagnosis later. Let's see. So there you go. That is the gist of it. I mean, it's a 15-minute video going over the gist of it, but it can get more complex than that. Talking about the delta, gamma, theta more than anything, but I'm not going to get into it. So if you want to buy a leap, I just showed you NVIDIA, symbol, strategy, call. Oh my God, my maybe it's not my computer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, why is this freezing up so much on me today? Or it might be my mouse. Okay, never mind. So call, buy to open, 1, NVIDIA, strike price, go all the way to 12/17/2027, and you can go at the money. So if the share price at 156, 155 is fine. But you can even go out to 170. That's fine. Again, as long as you always look at the delta. As long as the delta is like 0.50 and higher, you're good. Because every dollar that it moves, you're making $50 or more. And you want that. You want to make as much as possible per dollar move. IV, all I'm going to say is just make sure the IV here is under around 40s. Because according to ChatGPT, the average IV for NVIDIA is about 40. So it's I'll leave it at that. Just make sure it's around 40s. If it's higher than 40, if it's like 50 plus, wait for it to come down, is all I'm going to say. Again, I don't want to get too technical, because I myself had to do research as well on top of that. So yeah, you can literally do this every day, as long as NVIDIA continues to go up. If it goes up on the yearly, right, let's go back to the, oops. So if we go back to the charts, you can see on the yearly charts, it just doesn't have any red ears, and when it does, it's nothing more than a buy opportunity. So you can actually just buy leaps and sit on it for a whole year, or 3 years, or 2 years. It's up to you. You can even day trade it. I'm gonna more than likely just go for day trades for now, and because I already did the math. You should be able to make, 1,200 a month, which I know for some people it's like, oh my god, that's not a lot. Bro, I get it. You want to get rich quick, but I'm still experimenting here, and I'm loving it. The fact that I can control 100 shares of NVIDIA for less money, and have a lot of time on a stock that's only had 2 red ears over the course of over a decade. That's insane. That's insane. This was a red ear and it got bought up. That's the craziest part. So I'm very bullish. Again, you can also use this strategy on other stocks that behave like this, but I don't want to get you too excited, because I know some of you are going to be like, oh my god, what if I go to UNH? Some of you are going to be like, oh my god, so can I just buy a huge leap on UNH? Can I just buy a big leap on UNH? And if it goes, obviously if it moves, back to 600, you can make so much money. But that's a gamble. I look at this. This is barely holding on here. Maybe one day it'll recover, but it also could easily just dump. But yeah, so I recommend using it on something like NVIDIA. But it's up to you. I know some of you are just going to go, oh my god, I'm just going to buy leaps on, garbage. I guess. Sure, go right ahead. That's on you. But I think it's going to be very profitable. It's going to be fun. I should be able to take, I think I'm pretty much because we're on our way to a bull run, I think blah, blah, blah. Yep. So the fact that you got that monthly crossover, and you know that every time that happens, which is rare, it's a bull run. So we just got confirmation of that literally yesterday. So welcome to the bull run of 2026, assuming this holds and nothing crazy happens that sends it back down. Which, if it does, whatever. We got plenty of time. That's why you buy the expiration date 2.5 years out. Joey Shaw, I know you're watching this, but AMD can suck it, man. You can't look at that performance and tell me I ain't buying no leap on AMD. Screw that. Yeah, but you're probably better off buying a leap on MSTR. Even then, I'm skeptical of that one. That one is expensive. Wow, look at that. It just keeps going up year after year. Maybe it's worth it to buy a leap on MSTR, but I'm just going to stick to NVIDIA. It's up to you. I know some of you are going to be like, I'm going to buy UNH leap. All right. Like, if you want to do this for a living, you really have to be disciplined. You can't, you have to discover like what you're good at and stick to that and actually have a game plan. Like, I'm telling you my game plan. Hey, this stock just keeps going up. Hasn't had 2 red ears in a row for over a decade. Sure, this might be the one time I'm wrong, I guess, but We already had a red year to start, and now we're green, and now we're entering the bull run. But I have a strategy, and I stick to mainly NVIDIA. Whereas most people, they're just hopping around like bunnies from one stock to the other, to the other, to the other, instead of becoming a master at one, and then branch out if you want. But honestly, once you find a stock that makes you a lot of money, like Mara or NVIDIA or Riot or whatever the case may be, you kind of don't want to stray from that. Like, why would you, right? If you're doing this for a living and you know you're very good at trading APOD or whatever your favorite stock is, because you know it like the back of your hand, because you've been keeping track of it for years, there's no reason to trade anything else. Like, you found what works. Why would you stray from what makes you lots of money, right? At that point. And when you're really good at trading one stock, your win rate is higher, and sometimes even 100% win rate in my case with NVIDIA. But that, again, it's hard to lose money in NVIDIA because it just keeps going up. It's just difficult. Like, you could just blindly throw money and you make, like, it just goes up. You could literally buy the top every single time, and it always comes back up for you. You could have bought the top. Let's say you bought the top here, and, well, guess what? It came back up for you. I mean, it took 6 months, but it came back up for you finally. You could have bought the top here, still came back up for you, and then some. You could have bought the top here. Like, you could literally be so horrible at trading the stock market and buy the top of NVIDIA every single time on the daily chart, and it still came back up for you. Like, that you can be really horrible at trading. You might be absolutely clueless, not know how to read charts or anything, and still print money because you're buying something that just continues to go up on the yearly. Shout out to Jeff Brady, and shout out to what's her name, Le and Guyan. Those two have been talking to me a lot on the YouTube comments, and they both have told me, like, yeah, I kind of want. I'm really good at this. I think I want to do, like, I want to do. Jeff Brady wants to quit his trucker job at some point just to trade for a living, and I think he can do it. It's all patience and discipline, which is that's just something people don't have. And Le and Guyan, I don't know how to say it. Le and Guyan, Lee, I don't know. Lee and Guyan, she has a big account. She's also very motivated to trade for a living. But I just hope she doesn't blow up like Polish girl. But it's doable. I think it's doable. If someone really wants it that bad, they can do it. As long as they have the patience, discipline, and strategy. And so shout out to those two. Those are the two. I think you two are the first. You two are the first YouTube. You two are the first subscribers that have left a comment saying, like, I really, I think I can go somewhere with this. Like, I don't want to be driving a truck anymore, or what's her Vietnamese girl, because it turns out she's Vietnamese. I thought she was Filipino. Turns out Vietnamese girl does not want to be working 2 jobs, because she works 2 jobs. So sometimes you need that kind of motivation. Like, I think you guys can do it. You have the patience. You have all the ingredients for it.